Hi, I'm Julie Hartley, and today we're going to make a green smoothie. Now, before you turn it off, I wanted to let you know that green is really a nutritious color, but most people don't think about drinking their greens. When we actually blend them, they become 40% more available. And so by blending them, it also makes it not only a nutritious treat, but also very delicious as well too. So one of the first things that we're going to do is get out our blender. A lot of people think that you have to have a juicer in order to make a green drink, but most people have a blender, and any high-speed blender will do. Today we're going to be using a Vitamix, which is a very high-speed blender and can blend up our greens really smooth, so it makes our texture easier to tolerate. So the first thing that we do is actually take a cup of filtered water. Now, liquid is going to be the first thing that we're going to use for the base of our smoothie, so the liquid is real important. Filtered water is always a great go-to, but if you want a little thick or creamier version, you can also use any kind of nut milk. We just want to make sure it is unsweetened. Almond milk is a great choice, coconut milk, and also cashew milk. So we just pour that in. And then it's going to be time to add our greens. Today we have kind of a mixture of greens. We have a little bit of spinach, we have a little bit of kale, a little bit of Swiss chard. But if this is your first time to experiment with green smoothies, I would suggest a little spinach. It's a very mild green and it mixes very well with the fruit, so you really won't even be able to have a taste of the greens whatsoever. So that's what we're going to do, and a good rule of thumb is about a ratio of 3 to 1. So 3 servings of greens to about 1 serving of fruit. And what that means is about 3 cups of greens to about 1 cup of fruit, which is what we're going to do today. So we just go ahead and add those greens, just adding it to our water base. Making sure we get every little leaf in there. And you can see it has a lot of volume in the blender, but it's going to blend down so it'll be really small. The next thing that we're going to use is our fruit. Again, green smoothies should really meet your preference. We're going to be using a banana and pineapple for our fruit today. I like to encourage people to use whatever's in season, whatever they're getting locally around town, but pineapple and bananas mix very well with the greens and really help deflate any kind of bitterness that you're going to taste with the greens. So another thing that I like to do with my fruit, fresh or frozen, is really appropriate. When you use frozen, it gives an extra creaminess to the smoothie. It also is going to make it nice and cool. So we're going to place our banana in. When you're using bananas, they're really full of potassium, and also the pineapples are going to be full of antioxidants. So a great pairing whenever we're going to use the greens. So the next thing that we're going to add is a little bit of fat to our smoothie. And again, a little more greens with an avocado. You can use this, might be left over from last night. So we just scoop out about a half of an avocado if it's small, or more like a couple of tablespoons. And then a next thing that you might not have heard of, but is a true superfood, it's called chia seeds. But it is a power-packed little superfood seed. And the reason that it carries lots of nutrition in the form of protein, fiber, and omega-3 fatty acids. So in addition to the avocado, which is a fat, chia is also a little bit of fat. And the reason that we're adding fat to our smoothie is that it increases the absorption of all of our fat-soluble vitamins in there. They also give our smoothie a little bit of a nutty flavor, and they blend up very, very well. So just to kind of recap, we have our liquid, we have our greens, we have our pineapple and fruit, our 3 to 1 ratio, a little bit of added fat for absorption of ingredients. And once you have blended this up and maybe you give it a little taste, if it's not quite sweet enough, another good option is lemons. It really helps marry the flavors of the smoothie together, in addition to cutting any of the bitterness flavor. And then if that doesn't quite do it, if you have a sweet tooth like I do, you can also add a little bit of stevia, which is a sweetener, but make sure that it's pure stevia. And once we have all that in, our last step is to add a little bit of ice. Now this can be optional. If you like your smoothies really, really cold, it makes them taste very delicious, especially if you're not used to having greens. Greens really do taste better when they're super cold. So we just pour this in, and with your high-powered blender, you should be able to blend right through all of that ice. And then we're ready to turn on the blender. So we start actually blending on slow. You don't want to start super high immediately, just to make sure the liquid and the greens blend appropriately, and then we're going to turn it on high for a few seconds to make sure everything blends appropriately. So here we go, we're starting on low. You can see that volume already coming down. So we want to take a quick look and make sure we have no green chunks left in there. And if it looks good and tastes good to you, and you don't need to add any of that extra sweetener, now we're just going to store it. Preferably, you'd like to drink your smoothie right away. The nutrients, once they're blended, are at their freshest. Once you actually cut into fruits and vegetables, it starts the dying process of the food. So we don't want to store it longer than about 12 hours. But you can use just mason jars. These are a great thing to have around the house for all different kinds of things. But storing your smoothie is a great way. So you want to try to fill it up right to the top. And then we're going to add our airtight lid. So that, again, the least amount of air we can put in our smoothie, the better, because we don't want any more oxidation to take place than has already occurred. And so there you go, very quick and easy. A green smoothie so you can take with you on the road, or put it in your refrigerator for your 3 o'clock pick-me-up. Live well.